it was slashed down to 40. And it's like, wow, okay, that's fairly awesome of them to do. And it's very, very convenient for them to always getting the best price out there.
Most definitely. So, better time than ever.
Yeah. Also, speaking of games and used games, did you hear the Larry Herb Microsoft announcement about used games?
I have not. Let's get into it right now. Episode 136.
Whoa, we're already recording. What is this?
Just started like 40 seconds ago. It was like we're talking about so much stuff and they're missing out, people. We were discussing shows on Adult Swim, and then I just started recording right when you mentioned the Halo price from 60 to 40.
Oh, nice, very nice. Well, then we got a good bit of information in there, and so oh shoot, hold on. This damn computer always loads. It just has the slowest load time.
While that loads. Hello, everybody. This is Splinter 47 here with CH4rug. Back at you for episode 136.
Yes, indeed. Well, while it's loading up, the gist of it was that like they had him come out and say, "Oh, we really support the used markets. The information that's going out right now is incomplete, and that people are passing around talking about the used games and not truthful to what we're trying to actually achieve with our used games connection." And then they didn't say anything else. It said, "Oh, just stay by for more news." Like, oh, okay, so you want us to be not as confused by shooting yourself in the foot and saying, what they're saying is wrong. We'll get back to you on what's right.
You're saying we should wait for information that should have been brought up during the press conference.
Well, yes. The first thing, you're absolutely right. It should have been brought up during the press conference because that is the most important thing to get out of the way of whether or not used games would actually be a thing, especially when there's the used game market is so huge. But secondly, they came out with contradictory information from different associates, where somebody said like, "Oh no, we don't want to distance ourselves away from the used market. We're not going to do that." And then the same day, another Microsoft executive said like, "Oh yes, that will be the plan to have used games be purchased, use a purchasing system," and then. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. And then there's even weirder rumors going around. Oh, I'm sorry, here's what he said. The ability to trade in and resell games is important to gamers and to Xbox. Xbox One is designed to support the trade-in and resale of games. Reports about our policies for trade-in and resale are inaccurate and incomplete. We will disclose more information in the near future. The thing is that like he's not saying that's not true. Of like, okay, you'll have to repurchase codes for used games. They're not saying that. They're not even saying like, okay, that isn't true. They're just saying the reports are inaccurate and incomplete, but this statement right here is inaccurate and incomplete. So what the hell are we supposed to try to believe in?
Speaking like a true politician, Larry Herb. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Herb was the word. And there's also another little weird rumor going around that apparently, if you purchase along with like having always on Connect, and Microsoft has patented a something. I can't remember if it was like a design where they would work in conjunction with the United States government to give them all the information that they've seen on the Kinect. And just like transfer it right over in cases of, crimes, I suppose. But like that's really worrying. Like people were making 1984 jokes before that came out, and now that this one came out, it's even stranger.
Jesus, man! Minority Report all over again.
Exactly, except without the cool cars. And then the other rumor that I heard was that that if the Kinect will register a certain set number of people in a room, and then if there are more people than the subscriber paid for, I guess, it'll shut down. So you could have like a big party and you want to play Guitar Hero, and then you won't be able to because the Xbox will shut down because it detects too many people in the room.
Well, I shouldn't have any problem with that. I don't have any friends.
Hey, don't say that. You got me. You got all the wonderful people listening to Bloody Thumbs right now.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, there's some crazy rumors going on here.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's all rumors, and none of them are good.
None of them have been disproven either, but... Yeah, it seems too overly ambitious. These things that they keep mentioning here. If it turns out to be true, it's gonna. I can't see it being 100% always accurate, even though they say it might be. A lot of it seems too overly ambitious. It's going to cause a lot of issue here. And, it's not really looking very good for Microsoft with this Xbox One here. I'm always a proponent of borrowing games and getting the word out there. Borrowing games and either buying used games. Nothing. It's not. It make it seem like it's a crime. The used game market.
It's not. But it was. They always try to find something to throw underneath the bus. Like now, it's the used games market, but they don't want to directly say used games because it's still a large portion of the video game side of the big finances out there. So they're trying to they go out and badmouth the used game market, and then they immediately turn around and make deals for pre-order DLC with GameStop, and it's ridiculous just how two-faced this industry
corporate
is.
Greed.
And
corporate greed, good sir.
Yes, indeed.
Well, they gotta pay. They gotta pay for they have the ads on the Xbox. They gotta.
I mean, it's not like Xbox Live gets any revenue from anywhere. Oh, wait a minute. How about the people paying for the Xbox Gold subscription?
The Pizza Hut app. Have you tried that?
No, but if it's anything like the NASA app to actually download and eat a pizza, then I will be more than happy to download it.
The bootleg Xboxes out there, if you use the Pizza Hut app, you wait 20 minutes, and that pizza comes out of the disk drive. Believe it or not.
Slice by slice?
Slice by slice.
Or is it just like...
thin crust.
Or is it actually just like the entire pizza just a size of a disc?
Hey, you gotta get your pizza where you can. I think it's good. It's good little moderation there. If anyone wants to, it's on any type of diet. That'd be like maybe 3 points there. Jenny, correct? What Weight Watchers? They used to the points to Weight Watchers. I wouldn't know, but I've seen the numbers on these different yogurts for the Weight Watchers.
Yeah, who needs Weight Watchers when you got video games and beer?
Exactly, that's its own workout in and of itself. You get intense, intensity rushing through your veins, adrenaline while you're playing something. Your pit starts sweating. I mean, that's cardio in and of itself. Yeah, from your seat, they're always promoting these there's always these snake oil salesman commercials all the time. Lose weight while you sit. It's been proven by me that works.
All you gotta do is not ingest any food for over 4 days, and you should be looking like Karen Carpenter in no time.
That's the game. That's what they do to you. They distract you from food. You don't think about anything else. Yeah,
like M. Night Shyamalan's newest film. No one wants to be distracted from that.
You know how they marketed that movie. They didn't mention his name at all, and that's it didn't make much of a difference.
Exactly. Well, it was wise not to do so, just because M. Night Shyamalan has that air and stink about him, and when people now hear Shyamalan, they think, oh god, it's like Friedberg and Seltzer now. It's like whenever you see that, it's like, okay, now my day has been partially ruined. The only thing that could really pick me up is if I go to the vending machine to get a soda and then two pop out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that is the best. Or it's like going to parking your car at a parking meter, and you go out to put money in. It's like, oh, someone gave me an hour here. Well, that is fantastic.
If they got extra change, why not use it?
Yeah, just love one another by giving each other quarters.
Because, you know, how much we all love change.
Obama, make the Xbox One good.
He promises.
And speaking of Xbox One and next generation, there was actually a Amazon UK site that listed the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 for roughly $912 with games.
Goddamn.
Yeah, but once again, these are all rumors and hearsay that where they'll be. It'll be $912. It's almost $1,000 investment, and the games are going to be about $100 each.
That's probably a bit far-fetched there. Hopefully,
I mean,
you never know these days, man. You speak with you speak with the PR of Xbox, they say one thing. You speak with customer service, they say the other. And then you're looking at him, and he says, "What do you want from me?"
Well, I'll rely on the guy whose income does not rely upon how much he lies about the Xbox One.
Fair enough.
And then, but who knows? Instead of going forward, we might just go all the way back. We might just say, like, you know what? I don't want to get the Xbox One. I'll just use my 360, my Xbox, PS2, PS3, Wii, GameCube, whatever, just to play some old-fashioned game goodness that we have. And then, and I've certainly been doing that lately with Crimson Skies.
And amongst other things here, we'll be discussing on shortly, doing some chaos theory here.
Yeah, buddy!
Hey, just spilled some water on me.
That's the worst. I'm sorry?
No, I'm just wiping it off.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to interrupt the important. Like, it requires all of one's mental faculties to properly clean up a spill.
Yes.
And then, or in the case of Spill.com, it requires everyone to realize that Hollywood.com screwed everyone there over.
Hollywood.com.
Yeah. That's a shame. But anywho, just crap. What was I going to say?
You're playing Crimson Skies.
Yes, I did. How'd you know?
Well, he did mention it a minute ago, and then doing some LPs of that on the good old YouTubes there.
Yes, indeed. And I finally uploaded a CH Gorog CH Corner. Oh, so like I think I beat the Duke Nukem development cycle by 1 week. So it's like, yeah,
long in the making.
Yes, indeed. And then I think I actually wanted to talk about. Damn it! It was on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember.
I've been doing my own type of corners there. I should have called it Splinter's Corners as well. But I've been doing what I call here on my YouTube channel since I'm trying to get back on because I've been pretty inconsistent with the amount of stuff I've been putting on. Doing some Splinter Diaries there. So I've been discussing whatever's on my mind in terms of the gaming world or just any random topics off my head while driving. Yes, fair. This will be the. I'll be the poster boy for any driving with a phone in no time. So I just have it on next to the cup holder there. So I just while I do that, something to get my mind jump started in the morning. I'm driving to work. Discussed the whole Microsoft deal and just corporate greed in general. That's my latest one there.
Well, what we could also talk about, or just speculate on, taking breaks from video games occasionally. Why do women wear like when it's raining or cold, they'll wear like every layer known to man except for when it comes to identity, they'll just wear short shorts for their legs. That makes no sense to me. It's just like it'll be torrential downpour. They'll have UGG boots. They'll have 5 layers of tops. They'll have like 10 hats, and then just like booty shorts. What's going on there? Let's delve. Let's dissect that. What does that mean to you, the viewers at home?
I think it means that they're very secure about their upper upper region there, but they want to also get a little bit of a tan as well in the lower region. It's almost summer. Or is it summer? I haven't even looked at the calendar, so I don't know. They got to show off the legs. They got them nice and razored or shaven or waxed, whatever you prefer. They gotta strut that out and then not let it go to waste. And having it being covered in leggings, I think it's just a staple mark in society where it's good to show those stems. As a good old fella would say in the 40s or 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Some gams.
Nice gams on that dame.
Stems.
Oh, 1950s masculine society. We miss you, but fortunately, you're still here with Mad Men.
Yes, watching some Mad Men. I have. They're in the they're in the 70s now on this season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from what I've heard, apparently each episode takes place, I guess, a month apart from the last episode. It seems, which is pretty interesting. I mean, this is the first season. It started in the 40s, and then they've had a couple episodes where there were some historical events. So they also acknowledged the things that go on during the time, and how it affected people at the workplace. So they had the Kennedy's assassination there, and had Roberts there, and Martin Luther King was a couple episodes back. They had that moment.
I don't know why, but I like that in whenever a movie or TV show tries to be historically accurate, they just mention things offhand. Like they could just completely try to build up their own world and work that in, and sometimes it can come across as cheesy. Like, oh, this thing is about to happen. I wonder how these people react. But I think Mad Men does it very well.
I think so too. I think so.
I myself have been watching the 4th season of Arrested Development, and am currently working on a Arrested Development season 4 review.
Holy shit! And you and I have been mentioning about how we should do something like on the side here, like an extra, like some sort of different podcast other than games, like some sort of television discussion. Like there's a lot of shows going on, and then also premiering. So we gotta do something. That'd be interesting to go back and forth on something that happened on an episode. It would have been a lot of fun to do that with either like Game of Thrones or some other show like that. Like when 24 was on the air. That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
love me some 24.
Absolutely,
which is coming back next year. I hear it's
reboots and or it's either a reboot or a continuation or a movie or a new season or
it's
10 different things.
I guess like an add-on to the show, but it's not going to be 24 episodes. It's going to be 12, so it's going to be like a sort of a miniseries with the character Jack Bauer.
Mm-hmm. Well, the original, they kind of did the same thing that Heroes did, where it's originally it's supposed to be okay, a bunch of these people on this focused on this one season, and they'll just be cast out, and then new people will come in, and then it's oh no, it's pretty much going to be Jack Bauer marathon for 24.
Hey, you gotta take some care of yourself when you can.
Exactly, and
since they can't get a movie off the ground, they might as well do the mini series. I hear that they're taking the original kind of idea of the plot for the movie and doing that on the 12 episodes that they're going to put out.
Oh, nice. Well, that will make for some very interesting television. I wonder if it'll be Fox or Netflix or HBO who decides to pick it up and to show it off.
So yeah, I know that the Netflix is becoming pretty good to actually, invest even more of your time watching either TV or movies, since they have their kind of original programmings on there with the House of Cards and quite recently with the Arrested Development. I've never seen an episode of Arrested Development. It kind of passed me by when it was on the air.
Heresy.
I know, but
cardinal
blasphemy.
Sin. That is what you have just committed.
Blasphemy, and curse me to all eternity.
Oh, don't worry, I will, and when I pray for your soul to burn tonight, I will do it with extra glee, because I know that, not with the actual TV show Glee, but the actual Glee, the emotion. And just because you have besmirched the good name of Arrested Development.
I know I insulted it by not watching it. I feel terrible. Terrible.
Well, you might not be too far off with not watching it. The first 3 seasons, definitely watch. They're outstanding. I just take some issues with this 4th season of it.
Been reading and hearing similar testaments there, CH. Did you want to get into some of that there with you? Even though I'll just probably listen back here.
Yes, it would be my certain pleasure, because I'm a huge Arrested Development fan. For the day premiere, I went over to a party where I brought a bag that said, "Dead dove, do not eat." I wore the name tag of Mr. F. We had frozen bananas for treats, and then just watching it there, and then finishing it later. Because I understand why they did it. Well, what they did is that they took the show. It was originally an ensemble show where they have 9 different family members all working together, and they have kind of one overarching plot line, and everyone kind of meets in the middle, and then just like different types of interactions with each other. And that was what was really enjoyable about the show. But because of the Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Michael Cera are really big names right now, they're kind of busy, so they have to have like individual episodes focusing on one particular actor or actress. And that's the problem, because with that you don't have that family interaction, which was really enjoyable about the show. And not only that, the show is... They do some character things where I just was not a fan of, where they take the character of Michael, who I think is one of the greatest straight man in a comedy series you could ever want, and they make him into this really backstabbing, conniving character who kind of goes against his own, how he was portrayed. And they also go really dark, and just not like dark humor. They just go dark sometimes, and it doesn't always add up. And they also end the season with like several different plot threads that have just been introduced, and none of them are solved. And it's a bit infuriating. And then also, by the way, there's Seth Rogen in there, who plays a young version of George Sr., who's Jeffrey Tambor's character, and he is awful. I wouldn't even have cared if, like, okay, it's obvious you can't get these actors with the budget of a TV show to have like the best sort of like Steve Rogers and Captain America digital effects where they look completely different, but he barely tries. I assume like he only has like a few brain cells in there that haven't been fried by marijuana to just like stand up straight, look into the camera, and say a line. And like you can have like an actor who doesn't look at all like the original actor, but if they can come across with their personality as similar, then I'm fine. With this one, like for instance, Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins, where Ian Holm played him in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They see it's like they don't really look exactly like each other, but the attitude is close enough that really bridges that gap. And then with this one, just like, okay, Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen, and it's just really disheartening to see it every time it's on screen. Kirsten Wiig, though, plays the young version of his wife, Lucille, and she's spot on. She's amazing. But, of course, it's Kirsten Wiig, so I love her.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of the downside of kind of these shows that do get canceled and end up coming back in some, way, shape, or form. And then you realize, like, after all this time, when you start watching it again, it's like there's some parts there that's fine, but I kind of wish that they didn't bring it back at all. I think I would have stuck with the memory of that show rather than have it come back, because it's not going to be exactly the same, because things have changed, and people might have different characteristic traits where that they're not. It's not going to feel the same as when you saw it last season. That's one of the things that could bring it down and not make it feel the same, and especially with the those with those couple of actors you mentioned that they're the career's a lot bigger than than it was when they started doing that show. So obviously they're gonna have those episodes where they're in there for like 2 minutes tops, which is it takes you out completely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, okay, of course there's going to be changes because it was 10 years ago that the show finally ended, but there's just something about. I felt like this execution was wrong in a couple of ways, and just I still think it's a good season. I think it's incredibly well written, but it's an incredibly high bar to get to because it's Arrested Development, and it is not the quality of what Arrested Development was. Where it's like it's still good, but it's just more disappointing because it is the follow-up to Arrested Development.
Well, do they have all the episodes up for that season, or are they releasing it weekly? Because I know that the House of Cards show when that premiered on Netflix, they had all the episodes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They just what Netflix is doing is that with that and Hemlock Grove and Arrested Development, what they do is that they just have an entire season in production, and then when they're done, they just show the entire season on the Netflix queue.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And so it just hell yeah. I mean, it's just where you can just binge watch the entire thing, and it's I gotta say it is quite enjoyable just to go through all the shows without having to wait. Okay, now I gotta wait for next week and see what that's gonna be. Kind of like Doctor Who, just where it's okay, that was a really good episode. I'm really interested in that one. Too bad I'm not gonna be able to see it until next week.
Yeah, that's the worst part about watching TV shows. Especially the way Breaking Bad ended last season. Is I have to wait so much. I said wait this so much longer for the new season to come out, and then just thinking about it is making me just so anxious to see it because it's coming back in I believe a couple of months here. So yeah, it was nice. Mm-hmm. It was a nice change of pace when I started watching Mad Men on Netflix. So I gobbled it all up. Watched a lot of episodes on Netflix, and that's how I got caught up to now. And then even then, I sometimes even though I'm behind a couple episodes on Game of Thrones, I already know what's going to happen because I read the book. I'm very excited to see it how it unfolds in live action. So it's really awesome to kind of see that. Transpire there. So I'm probably going to watch the episodes I missed out. I think it's 4 or 5 I have to watch on and see what happens. But yeah, that's cool. Arrested Development there.
Hell yeah, I mean, like Mad Men, it's nice just to go back and see seasons of just pure episodes that you can get to enjoy and don't have to wait for the right time slot or for the reruns to kick in, and then which is what I'm also doing with Star Trek: The Next Generation, just because I just power through about 3 or 4 episodes, then I leave it for about a month and come back oh yeah, I'm still on this thing, and then just keep going.
Yeah, I got to do that. I'm doing the same thing too. I gotta get back on Battlestar Galactica. I took a break from that. It's a great show. From the episodes I've seen, the first 3 episodes, amazing.
Yeah.
That episode where everyone's that has to stay awake all the whole time. That was a great episode.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite one. Just the Cylons are attacking every something minutes, and then they have to figure out what's going on, and they're that was the perfect episode.
Exactly. So I gotta get back on that as well. So other than that. Anything else that you want to discuss, kind of TV wise? Because before we get into our Splinter Cell Chaos Theory discussion, one of our starting here under kind of a new segments we would like to do more often here. So kind of talk about some games you maybe not have done a official review on, or something that either a retro review or just something that we'll talk about it, and then I guess we'll have. We'll compare, I guess, and contrast some of our thoughts, then and now, what we thought of it. So, I think it's a better time than ever to get started on some Chaos Theory discussion. So,
hell yeah!
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say the only thing I actually saw on TV that I don't like watching TV anymore because I got the internet for pretty much everything. And then I was watching CNN. They did about 25. I was waiting in the non-emergency part of a hospital for just a quick checkup because I had tendonitis in my leg and I didn't know that at the time. So what I was just sitting down waiting in the lobby, and they were just playing about 25 minutes of the trial of Amanda Bynes. They were treating this as if it was like the Nuremberg trials, where it was like going through all the footage and like, what happened? Can this happen to you? And it's like this is so ridiculous. Just leave the poor fucking girl alone. I don't care if she's crazy or that this came on yourself. You're a goddamn news station. There's a war in Syria you're not covering. I haven't even seen a blip about that.
Oh yeah, news.
And it's like, hey, wasn't North Korea threatening to nuke us about a couple weeks back? Don't you guys want to dig through some news topics and try to find that?
Ironically enough, North Korea's got a couple things to do with chaos theory here.
Yes, perfect segue, buddy. That
fantastic.
Wow, just knocked that one right out of the park for a grand slam.
So yeah, I guess let's get into chaos theory here. But I think we should go. We start off here first. What did you play this on?
I always play it normal. I never like this game seems so intimidating that they don't start out with easy, medium, hard. It's normal, hard, and expert. And I tried to do. I also tried to play it hard and hey, it's a pretty fun game. At hard, but for some reason I just like the enjoyment of normal.
Same here. I don't even bother with anything higher than normal. But what console did you play it on?
I am a soldier. I've served my country for 20 years.
Bishop, you have 24 hours to retrieve that information.
But if I'm captured or killed, I know that nobody will come to rescue me.
We need to stop this war before it starts.
I won't even get a funeral.
Don't get caught, Fisher. We can't help you if you do.
Because the nation that I protect can never admit that I exist. So my death would go unremarked. My bones would go unclaimed. I don't know if that day will come. But I do know that it must not be today. I am invisible. I am relentless. I am Sam Fisher. I am a Splinter Cell.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, in stores March 31st. Rated M for mature.
I got it for the original Xbox. I still have the Xbox DVD of it and CD of it that I'm just playing in my 360, and I am just happy as
so. Yeah, I guess we could get a little background on this, but let's see, where do we start? But what was what was your first kind of reaction when you first heard it's like a retrospective? It's like, where were you when Chaos Theory was announced? Because I remember first seeing a couple trailers for it, and they were great trailers. The one with Sam being interrogated, and then he's talking about how he's a soldier. Nobody, if he gets caught, no one's going to come looking for him. And then that's what he does. And it's just a great dialogue there, written for, and then performed to a T out Michael Ironside there.
I mean, talk about pitch perfect casting. That is like one of the great video game voice actors who just fit his role spot on. And are you talking about the one where he's talking about his actual theory of chaos theory, right?
There's another trailer where it's called the Believe trailer. So he's talking about chaos theory, but there's the other one where he's talking about how if he gets caught, they're not gonna bury him or have any type of no one will know even he exists because the U.S. won't acknowledge him or anything. So he's talking about that, and it's at first it's like a CGI trailer, and then they show clips of the game when he gets out. So that's the trailer there, and then the one that's called the Believe trailer, where he's talking about chaos theory, how little events spiral into big events, and then they show a lot of gameplay there, which is a lot of it was taken from the game and a couple of the scenes from the cutscene, but a lot of great editing on those trailers. Definitely. Chaos Theory was definitely one that I was really hyping for at the time when it was coming out, because I really loved Pandora Tomorrow. I like Pandora Tomorrow a lot, and that's the first that's my first game I played of
Pandora Tomorrow.
That's my first game I played of Splinter Cell. I remember seeing the trailer for Pandora Tomorrow where he's hanging on the side of the train, and then the train comes by, and then he starts like the last minute just ducks so he doesn't get hit. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, and I love the fact that for the original trailers, they actually use gameplay footage and not like pre-rendered CG animatics to give the feeling of the game. Right? Like they're not afraid to actually show the game in action, and it works really, really well. And they have a great setup. But I have to admit that like I was kind of disappointed when it's like, oh. The trailer where he's talking about like his version of chaos theory, and he's like, "You don't have to succumb to it. You can rise above it." It's like we're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take this philosophy of Sam Fisher, and I'm gonna work it into the next chaos theory game, like let's play something." And then the game comes along, and then none of that speech is in there at all. It's like that's misleading marketing.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, That trailer was great, and like you were saying, at the time that game was like gorgeous. It had a fantastic look to it, and it was Splinter Cell, and for the high of Splinter Cell, and it just had fantastic lighting, and it still does. If you play, I played it on the GameCube version. It looks fine, and then I remember at the time it looked really good on the GameCube. I wish I could have. Played it on the PC actually, because I remember when I was playing on the PC for my first LP of that, it looked great, and then the lighting was great, everything was spot on, and it looks a lot better because I had to go with the old school 480i for this one here, so it brought back some memories, and then
that's the crackheads HD right there.
Exactly. So it was a drastic change from that into HD there. I wish they had the HD collection for the 360, but they only have it for the PS3. And
that makes me.
So
angry.
I guess we had, one of the first things we could start off here is the menu screen. I don't know if it's the same for the Xbox, but I always thought it was an odd and intimidating menu screen with Sam Fisher just staring at you.
He's like, you better make the right choice, or else I'm going to stab you. But there's those occasional moments where, if you have that introduction screen of like Sam's big old head, like the Wizard of Oz, where he's like, what do you want here, Splinter? Like, oh, I'd like some friends to be able to help me along my journey. It's like, no. When you after you get to that, like if you wait around a little bit or if you press start, it starts that in-game trailer, like all the cool things you can do, and then there's a one moment of like the character model of Sam like turning directly into the camera. It's a close-up, but he looks cross-eyed, and it's like that part always makes me laugh just because like he has a derp face going on. It's like, just stab the guy, her.
Well, Sam Fisher staring at you, telling you to make the right decision. And like for the GameCube version, I'm not sure about the other versions there, but the first choice you do make, what language do you want to select? That's the choice I got. The first language I got. I don't know, Sam. I think I know English. I'm going to hit that, and then that's when you begin Splinter Cell Chaos Theory here.
Oh yeah.
And, taking place in 2007. China and North Korea very unhappy with Japan's the Information Self-Defense Force, as they will believe it violates the Article 9 of the post-World War II Constitution. How I remember this information, I do not know.
But to be fair, like they were pretty spot on with like China and North Korea not being happy with Japan. But then again, when have they ever? It's like. It's not like it's like saying like, oh, but this just in, the Middle East is a little bit turbulent. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, it definitely starts off with that in the Well, there's a news report there. So that news report you always got in those previous Splinter Cell games, the WNM. Mm-hmm. I always liked those.
Yeah.
They had that in I think the first one, and the in Pandora Tomorrow they had that too.
I mean, and that is a framing device for the narrative, works really, really well, because you get the sense that like there's a world that exists out there, and Sam is just a very small part of it. There's points of like Lambert talking with White House staff about the upcoming mission, and it's not always revolved around Sam. It's this big cast of characters, and Sam just happens to be kind of the star at the moment. It's not like in Metal Gear Solid, where I think Metal Gear Solid is a great series, that the primary protagonist, whether it be Raiden or Snake or what have you, it's like if the information is not happening in front of them, it's not happening. It's not important to the entire story. But this one, it cuts to like news anchors talking about current affairs, or like was it Long Dan, who's like trying to be an ambassador for peace? Like, that's a really interesting. Well, speaking of that, like there's all these little interesting side stories that are going on that have no bearing on the narrative whatsoever, that you can just explore and find out, like the whole stranded space shuttle in the first level, and then and they are trying to bring it down in the later levels, or like the email when you go into the bank level and it's like there's an audio clip of like a news press thing about like talking dog wows the president, and because we had George W. Bush at the time, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there's a lot of those little kind of funny and kind of oddball things going on at each level. If you depending on if you really look into it, or take time to read any of the kind of emails that you hack into, that's not really the vital part of the information you get from either hacking a computer or something like that. But yeah, you definitely get a lot of these little side tidbits here and there, and especially in the NPC dialogue as well. You get some kind of a backstory on some of these different soldiers that are like patrolling the area. And it's funny how most of them look the same and are voiced by like the same 5 guys, but just like change their voice up.
It's interesting seeing, listening to one white actor try to do a Spanish accent and then immediately go over to a North Korean accent, and you're like, wow, these are both equally as offensive as the other.
Holy, gotta find...
Ronin, come in!
Brother, what? Watching some TV.
Like, this was... I think the game and the story and the characters and everything was just so good that people kind of overlooked that flaw. But like coming back, it's like, yeah, this seems a little weird. It's like, and especially with like Conviction, where you have that level in the Middle East where all the soldiers are speaking Farsi, and none of them are actually speaking English. Like that adds to the immersion, because it's like they're not like, oh, they're not like really horribly, unintentionally stereotyping the people of the Middle East, where now it's just just going back at it now, it's not too offensive. It's like
definitely that, and I definitely like the whole overarching storyline on the side here, where they're trying to figure out whether or not Doug Shetland, which was like Sam's friend from UC, and I don't know if he was in the first game, but he was in Pandora Tomorrow for that one scene, and then the cultivating of 2 different kind of views on war, and just seeing that unfold, and having that standoff at the end there, and then I didn't completely get his motivation. All I kind of got was that he was in it just to make money off the disasters, just so his private military corporation can get some money off of that. But I didn't know he completely. I'm not sure if I missed it, but it seemed like he completely kind of changed views overall and on kind of America and the war. And it didn't seem like he was in it much for the money, but from the the evidence you gathered, it seemed like that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, from what he was saying, it seems that like, okay, Shetland actually has like beliefs behind this, and he's really not happy with the United States as it's run now, especially with kind of these agents going by and committing these acts of espionage, and he's like, this is a load of bull, and as he says, America's dying and she's on life support. I'm just here to turn it off. And it's a really good moment, because you finally see kind of both men at their core being of who they are. And where Shetland has no faith in his country, Sam has all the faith in his country, even though he criticizes it. He still believes at the very core, like, no, this is a good country and I'm going to fight and die for it if necessary.
So the big decision there: did you shoot Shetland or put your gun down?
Man, you know me. The first time I did it, I definitely holstered my gun, thinking like maybe I could bring him in non-lethally. Maybe he could be turned from the dark side. But that son of a bitch tried to shoot me in the forehead. So I'm like, I'm gonna stab you in the stomach. Get on out of here.
Yeah, each choice is pretty awesome. You either shoot him or just holster your gun. Then he tries to shoot you, and then Sam dodges, and then stabs him and throws him into the inside through a glass window, and then it goes into that cutscene every time. One of the few cutscenes we get was really impactful. There is like before he kills him, he's like, "You wouldn't shoot an old friend," and then you get that. Option to shoot him or not shoot him. So it's like either decision you make, it works for what he says after he kills him.
Yeah. And I like that interpretation of it. Like, okay, it could work either way, because he's like, you're right, Doug. I wouldn't shoot an old friend, but I will stab the fuck out of a traitor. Or it's like he shoots him in the face, like, oh, you're right. I wouldn't shoot an old friend. You're not an old friend to me anymore because of what you did.
Exactly. Yeah, it works either or. I love that. Definitely. Definitely. I always go back to those cutscenes. I always thought they were really good cutscenes, especially the conversation Sam had with Doug when he was at the Hokkaido mission.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was good. I think it was before the Walsh got taken down with missiles.
Yeah. Oh man, was it?
I'm trying to remember if it was. I think it might have been.
But I can't remember right now. But I gotta say is I just love all the characters that they have, and just everybody is perfect. Where I can't imagine anyone. There's really not with this game. It's just perfect all the way around, and the thing that makes me laugh the most isn't the pitch black humor in this. It's that they still have that movie teaser for the Splinter Cell movie coming soon, where they're just like, it's obviously like they filmed it in like a day, where it's like, okay, Charlie, you're gonna wear these goggles on your head, and when we tell you to stand up in this dark room and then turn them on. All right, now we're done. You've played the games. You've read the books. Now experience Sam Fisher like you've never seen before in the Splinter Cell, the movie coming soon. And it's like, well, it's 2013. I think that soon might need to be in quotations.
In retrospect, it was an awesome teaser. Just because you're nerding out on Splinter Cell there, but looking back on it, that was probably the kind of the kind of probably the baddest part of the game. Just having that teaser. I didn't think it was an actual person. I thought it was just they took I always thought they took a clip from using the game engine or a CGI trailer. I always thought that was it. You couldn't even tell whether or not, maybe because maybe I wasn't playing it on the PC, I probably would have noticed it a lot better there. But since it's like the GameCube and you only get 480p, but you couldn't really tell whether or not it was a actual person or some sort of CGI trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to it's really hard to tell, just because it's like, okay, it's this guy wearing all black in a black room with smoke, so it's kind of obscured. But he moves a little bit too smoothly for the gameplay footage. Or kind of a CG sort of cutscene, because when you have the CG cutscenes, they're all animated like traditional animation, where they move a little bit with more exaggeration in their movement, where it's not like, okay, they're mocap suits, and Yeah, I actually hope that if they do an anniversary edition of Chaos Theory, that they redo that movie teaser as well, and just like keep it as cheesy and just like it's quickly done as that. Just like make it in 1080p.
Have the Mega 64 guys do something.
That's even better. That would be perfect. Just like three of them fumbling around like Bob and Steve.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. I gotta say, I love that game as well, just because we would have gotten some of those great segments there on G4 with the Bob and Steve.
Yeah. They're just going around and completely messing up everything that they do, and that actually leads me perfectly to the next section I wanted to talk about, which is the multiplayer.
Multiplayer, yeah. I didn't get to play much of the multiplayer other than just a multiplayer for Double Agent, because since it was on the GameCube, I think you had to buy like a separate peripheral to get online there. But I assume it was similar to, you could play locally. I think there's co-op on that, from what I remember. Right? Yeah. So I've only played just a little bit of the co-op, but it was that's where it started, right? It was the Spies and Mercs in Pandora Tomorrow. They started that, and then kind of built upon that in Chaos Theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I think it was introduced in Pandora Tomorrow, and then in Chaos Theory they decided to make a little bit more of a story about it. And so, that's how they have that cool little moment where Sam's interrogating one of the guys so that they can get information. And while they're going off doing their thing, Sam's doing his thing. And that led us to Convictions co-op, where it's Archer and Kestrel going down trying to take down kind of this Russian mafia sort of thing. And also just the playing the multiplayer in Chaos Theory. It was fun, but it was definitely sort of rough for the time, because it's the original Xbox. You have two different gameplay styles of first person and third person, so consistency in the gameplay is going to take a hit a little bit, but it was still a lot of fun, where it's Mercs versus Spies, where it's not only different teams but different game types, where one is run and gun type action, one's kind of more sneaky, more tools, and then and like that, I just love that portion of it, where it's like, okay, they really have a handle on what flavor of the game they want. Mm-hmm. And it was fun for the time, although not as much fun as, say, Halo 2, where it came out and just kind of dominated everything.
Yeah. I also gotta say, on a side note there, it was interesting going back on this and seeing how completely how they revamped Grimm, compared to her, and then Conviction, and then also kind of her character as well. She was a bit more in Conviction, a bit more sure of herself and more kind of more badass, and then her being kind of at the desk, kind of a computer geek there in Chaos Theory.
Yeah. They definitely made her a lot more of an active character in a Conviction to get a little bit more of the interesting character dynamic going. But like Anna and Sam, like they have a good relationship, but it's never one of like, okay, like these guys are personally involved in each other's lives. Where in Conviction, like you could definitely sense that tension going on. Where it's like it's very interesting to see kind of all the character stuff, and Chaos Theory is surprisingly more lighthearted. I don't even know if I really want to use that word, but it's like compared to Double Agent and Conviction, where Sam is just in the throes of drama everywhere. Like he's got the first thing you see in Double Agent is him getting into a drunken bar fight with somebody because of the death of his daughter. Mm-hmm. And then in Conviction, it's all about him like, okay, maybe his daughter isn't dead, and so now he's got to deal with these people who've been lying to him, assumingly, this entire time. Until
he finds out later that the lie was for a good reason there. It was the might as well spoil the Conviction if you haven't played it already. I don't know what's wrong with you. We found the video footage or some sort of audio footage of what Lambert's saying, that covering up Sam's daughter's death, just so that I forgot who it was, but it was somebody that didn't use her as leverage.
Yeah, it's the guy who took over Third Echelon when they all left. It's like,
Andrew Coben?
Yeah, no, he worked for the guy.
Oh, okay.
Audrey Coben was the scumbag, backstabbing, coke-addled bastard.
Yeah, that at the end of the co-op in Conviction, where you had to, you work together with your. At first, you had, you were bumping heads with your significant other, and figuring what's going on here, working together, do different countries here, and then at the end, you start garnering more of a relationship, and then being concerned if one of the other guy is down, and then you would do the whole animation of reviving him, and then at the very end when you finish your mission, all is well and dandy in your Splinter Cell co-op mission. You go to that part where you have to go kill the other guy, and then after one of you kills your other guy, he shows up and kills you.
Oh my god, that one just tore my heart to shreds, just because you have Archer and Kestrel when they first come on out, and then so they have to work together. It's like, oh man, I don't want to work with this guy. He's Russian, he's biased, he isn't going to want to get the job done, and Kestrel's like, hey, you shut up, we're doing this for country stability. And then as they go along and they work together, they become more buddy-buddy till the end. They're just like best of friends, and that last scene is like, you have to kill him. And then it's like, ooh, he just dropped the mic on that one.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. I think it was Chaos Theory was a bit on the light side in terms of Sam's kind of what he's going through personally, because Double Agent and Conviction are more personal stories about Sam Fisher, but the Chaos Theory was more personal about what was going on in a grander scale than just himself.
It was also kind of the most idealized Sam has ever been, where he's sticking to strangely enough his convictions and what he believes in, kind of with all of his heart, and then the Double Agent and Conviction just like tearing all that down.
Definitely after after the events of Double Agents transpire, and there's just the kind of downfall of Third Echelon and not being the same it was when you first played Splinter Cell. I mean, just from the beginning till now, it's just a very, very great transition, game by game on what's going on. So it
definitely felt like a natural evolution.
Yeah,
and it's. What they tried to incorporate didn't work. They removed that and put some new stuff in. Like I remember the Pandora Tomorrow. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of a little bit wonky. The door shuffle, where you just like press yourself against a wall. There was a gap, and there was another wall between, and then you'd immediately do the kind of roadie run, where you just like immediately go on over and like slam against the wall. It's like, okay, that was fine, but it definitely didn't completely add to the experience as much as kind of hanging from ceilings or being a little bit more acrobatic.
Yeah, the SWAT turn in Pandora Tomorrow. The only thing I can remember ever doing that was only once. Is the early level where Sedonis was there interrogating some guy, and then that's when you would have to do the SWAT turn after he wasn't looking. I think that was the only time you ever use it. But they didn't have that in Chaos Theory. It was a lot more. They stuck with what the strongest about and what was relevant to the series was just like the shadows and the lighting and just the noise you would make depending on the amount of the speed you were going at and the amount of pressure you put on the analog stick there, and just a lot of that and the ambient soundtrack there, and just the high-paced soundtrack. It just goes well with what's going on, and it dies down. And I like how it just dies down slowly as the guard gives up on looking for something if he sees something suspicious. And that's Chaos Theory here. I think what are your thoughts? Still kind of the same compared now and then back then? I think I probably still have the same thoughts on it. I think it's very, very spot on and a very classic title that did a lot of things that was innovative. And we didn't also talk about the levels. There were a lot of different parts in the level where you could go either different directions. You can take alternate paths to get to a location. Especially a lot of the ceiling ducts. You can definitely kill 5 minutes and then going through there, throwing through the ducts.
Oh yeah, I love the variety of options that they can give you. Just not only non-lethal or lethal, but like, okay, you can go the quick path, which is a lot more riskier, or you could go the slow path, or you could like just figure out a way of just luring your enemies over. Or just, what I love to do is just turn off all the lights and just wait for the guards to come on over to check, and then just like knock him out, then drag him on over, and then just call out another guard so he can come over. It's like, hey, the lights are off, and then knock him out. Very, very fun.
Yeah, the whistle mechanic was good.
Oh, great! I mean, it's even better now because you don't have to. With the original Xbox controller, you had those really awkward black and white buttons underneath the A button, and like, oh, okay, this is a little bit strange. But with the Xbox 360 controller, it's awesome just because you can now just press the left or right bumper. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, just overall, the game. It's hard for me to look back at games that I loved, back in the day, and then still cherish just as much. Even games like Ocarina of Time or even the first Halo game, I still love them. But there's like parts I can okay, now that I'm older and now that we've kind of gotten further along in game design, I can still see kind of some of the problems. But this one is a game that I still look at and I'm still impressed by to this very day.
Mm-hmm. A lot of great and ambitious design there that all just worked well together. Going back, I had my first impressions were at first maybe because I wasn't used to playing that sort of gameplay in a while. Since that had come out, I found it a bit I found it a bit more quiet than I thought before, and then very slow paced at times.
Oh, yeah.
But if you really get into it, you can definitely get a lot out of it in terms of a kind of a stealth game. That's what I really loved about it. And once I got into it, I really got into it. So I definitely would recommend this for like fans of stealth and just interesting character dynamics and just kind of interesting kind of either political or spy thriller. It's definitely worth playing. Much like Blood Money was for Hitman, I think Chaos Theory is the one you probably have to play first because it fine-tuned everything that didn't quite work from the past titles, and then it's just the pinnacle of what that type of gameplay for that generation in time that it come out can do. That was like the best for its time. And still holds up and still holds up in some respects and yeah, I mean that's our thoughts here on Chaos Theory. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely,
love the replaying.
The grenade dynamic is the grenade gameplay mechanic is a little bit wonky, but hey, it's still very, very good.
Yeah, I never used the grenades. I always thought they took too long to go off, and then they never were accurate. By the time you throw it, the enemy will start running towards you, and then it'll just go off behind them. So it didn't have a good radius on that. Would have been cool to maybe upgrade weapons or something like that to maybe counteract that, but it wasn't really an RPG, so. That's fine, but I guess to talk about quickly about the end. So you go. The final mission was in Kabuko Sosho, I believe. Yeah, you go off against the General Tomo, and then you have this back and forth with him, and then he goes on to just commit seppuku. Tries to commit seppuku, just gets a samurai sword, and then just shoves it in his chest.
Oh yeah, that scene was just wow. Just looking at that one, and then immediately after, of course, Sam's dark humor kicks in and just goes, "I think someone takes himself a little too seriously."
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And then it's also just like a really quiet moment. It's not a huge boss battle. It's not I mean, you kind of got through the difficult part. Now you're just kind of dealing with the actual person, and so now you just got to save him and get out of there. And just so rewarding to, pull the knife out, get him healed up, and then plant explosives on the window, and then make your way to freedom.
Yeah, they definitely didn't. They didn't try too hard or go too big than it should have been with the last mission there. There were definitely a lot of moments where it got intense before you reached the general, and then that was kind of your break there, and just like, pumping your fist that you finished that you're about to beat this game, and then having that very very quiet moment back and forth with Sam and General Tobo, and then just have that. Just doing the simplest thing by just going through this duct and then coming out of the other end and just pulling the samurai sword out of him, and it was just like the very simple, the simplest part of the game there at the end, and then just having that the cutscene play out there with Sam swimming to the surface. Before that, you put the bombs on the glass window because you're underwater in the submarine, and then the funny humor between in the game again with Sam and
we're over 300 feet underwater.
You gotta blow yourself out, Sam. Like every mission, you gotta blow out of there.
Next time you go on the crazy mission and I stay and make the orders. Yeah,
that was great. That was great. Then set off the explosives there, and then you just stand there, and then watch the water pour in there, and then mission complete.
And I also just something I noticed where this game doesn't have any unlockables. There's no leveling up systems. There's no different guns that you can acquire and purchase. It's just what you have from the beginning, and then slight variations along the way. And I've never seen a game where I was like, that's fine with me. I mean, we don't even get other costumes. Like, it's not like Sam Fisher sneaking around in a clown outfit, which I would love. But it's just so interesting how there's just no unlockables. It's just kind of what you see is what you get. This is just a good game with good, great mechanics.
Yeah, pretty much. It was everything you've got. You from the beginning to the end, it's all the same, and the costume slightly changes depending on the location. Like he has like the full. It looks like kind of like he came out of water, like a sort of swimsuit. And at the end of that Kabuko social level, that definitely was a mix there, and then a couple of other levels like he didn't have any sleeves, so it was slightly varied up a little bit depending on the location you're at. So that would be the only thing there. The only just the weapons you would customize, like the amount of weapons you would get or attachments. That's all.
The Redding.
Yeah, the Redding's recommendation. It's like it was all similar, but just like mixed up in different orders here, depending on the route you were going for. Like if you're going with stealth, you get probably a lot of sticky shockers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that's one of the big ones where it's like, okay, get lots of sticky shockers, lots of those little knock you the hell out little bolts that you got, those cameras, all good.
What did you think of kind of the way it ended? Going back on it, I thought it was fine. It was nothing too, like I said, it wasn't trying too hard to be anything epic for the end. I thought it was very, very subtle, and it was just like another day at the job for like Sam here. It was like, even though it was, they were at the brink of World War III, but it was like, yeah, another day gone. Let's see what the next day brings. So but you get that nice little cutscene there with the news, the news segments, seeing. Showing Otomo confessing to what he did, and then the president thanking the unsung heroes of this victory here, and then Sam and then the rest of the crew are just like watching the news, and then having Redding throwing a paper ball at a trash can, and then Sam moving the trash can out of the way with his foot. Just
yeah, it's like really private and intimate, which is what I really like about that moment, where it's just like, okay, these guys. They just saved the war. They just saved the world from World War III, and they're just like, and like you said, just another day, another mission to challenge, and then just like these people who, really do have an amazing repertoire with each other, just able to just like to say like, okay, now that we're done with that, let's see what tomorrow will bring, and then just like that's like a great place to end. Maybe the epilogue could have been a little bit longer, is my only criticism, but I still think it ends on a very, very good note.
Yeah, I'd say the same too. I thought it was really quick. The ending, but for what you got, it was good. It was didn't go to anything too crazy like a 30-minute cutscene or anything.
we're just comparing Splinter Cell to Metal Gear Solid all up and down today.
I wouldn't have minded. I thought it would have been cool just to see see Sam doing watching him do something monotonous when he's not on the job. It would have been. I'd be happy.
During the crossword puzzles, like, Lambert, I need your help. I'm having troubles with 7 down.
Yeah, they're gonna hack this computer to get that answer there, Sam.
Oh man, it is. I mean, I can't recommend this. This is one of my top 5 games of all time. This is just one of my favorite games. And anybody, if you love stealth, if you love good stories, if you love excellently paced games, you're going to just enjoy yourselves all up and down just with this game, because it's frankly just one of the best.
Yeah, that is certainly it is true there, good sir. I definitely, it's up there on my list for like the top games I've played in my life. Definitely an experience, and definitely holds up and worth playing now. Just especially during gaming droughts, definitely worth going into if you do happen to either have a system or on the PC, which is probably the most quick and accessible way to get it. And then it looks gorgeous on the PC.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely wonderful, and if you have the PS3 and the PlayStation Network, you can download it off there, although I certainly wish I could download an HD version myself, but sadly I cannot, but you can, so enjoy that.
Exactly, so that's it's nice that we got discussed some Chaos Theory here. I definitely would love to do some more games in the future, some type of kind of retrospective discussions on which we might have. I definitely would. I know we've talked about it so many times, but I think we probably. I mean, all the times we've talked about it is probably in itself a whole episode there. Just like the going on to Double Agent, especially the Ubisoft Montreal version, which like that is I think most people's the dedicated fans, like the favorite version of Double Agent is the Montreal's version. It's on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube versions. That was it wasn't as as strong of a sequel as compared to Chaos Theory, but for the story it was going for, and then still sticking with the the gameplay here and there. It was for what it was going for. I thought it was a lot better executed than the 360 version.
Oh yeah, it like the 360 version. What it had going for it was this really cool presentation, and like the fact that you could like lower and raise your shades like goggles, like that was the cool touch. But it was just this one was obviously done to look a lot better, and then this one, and then Montreal's version actually played a lot better, and a lot of the moments of like, are they going to trust? Are the JSA going to trust me? JVA versus the NSA. It's like, in the Montreal game, you actually have to do a lot of the stuff in game, whereas in the Shanghai version, where it's like, you have these big, choose these 3 different methods. Like you can either frame this person, kill this person, or spare them. And it didn't translate a lot to the in-game stuff unless you were going around and committing acts of sabotage, where I think it was a lot better done in Ubisoft Montreal version.
Definitely a lot, like you said. There were the main objectives, and then the secondary objectives that gave you more trust points on either on either side that increased. Like it just ended up being in the middle. I always ended up being in the middle for the most part. And it was also the characters in the story were a lot better handled. I think you got to know more of the JBA members than you did in the 360 version. I mean, you got to get an idea a little bit of what they were about, and by really like breaking into their rooms or scanning their fingerprints or looking in their cabinets, and that's how you would get some intel on them. But that way I didn't get too much out of it, but some of the dialogue moments you had in Montreal version was a lot better, and then the kind of the pseudo relationship you kind of had with Enrica in that one was a lot more impactful. It
felt a lot more natural.
A lot natural and impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got some good moments in that version there. It also used cutscenes as well. Like it did in Chaos Theory. Like it wasn't that like the double agent version of Montreal wasn't doing anything to outdo Chaos Theory, because they'd done everything they could with that type of gameplay. They were just kind of adding on to it with a storyline that was more personal for Sam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And just it's thinking about it, it's kind of hard to make the Splinter Cell games personally involving with Sam Fisher's life, especially after the events of Conviction, where it's like, okay, now you have your daughter back again. What's the story going to be about this time? Is he like, okay, your daughter's going to get kidnapped again? Like, I'm sorry, with Blacklist, where it's like, okay, I really do wonder. It's like, okay, what are they going to do with the story for the next Splinter Cell game? Are they going to make it more like Chaos Theory, where he's just trying to stop this kind of bigger plot, or are they going to try to make it more personal?
Well, the trailers seem like it's going back to a bit more to Chaos Theory, where it's just more about the mission than what's going on with him personally, and just the change up in voice. I'm gonna have a hard time. I don't know if it's. I mean, we still don't. I'm not even sure. I guess it's always it's inconsistent a little bit, because like if it is taking place after Conviction, which seems like it is, but having that change of actor in the voice, it makes him seem and sound younger, and I can't buy that he's a father.
Yeah,
with that new actor.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, because like they ended Sam's story so perfectly in Conviction, and if this guy was taking over as kind of like the new rookie, or they were rebooting the entire franchise, like, okay, now it's Sam Fisher, he's like a CW hot 20-something, and he's coming out of Supernatural to kick ass and save the world. Like, okay, I can believe that too, but they seem to want to still have Sam, still be in the same universe, still have him be young enough to do all these actions that even in Conviction was pushing it, where he's like doing backflips and rocket surfing and cracking people's noses, and he's like 78. He's like, I just like to see that scene of Conviction where he's just like, all right, I'll meet you at the extraction point. Gotcha. And then he just and then he cuts off the mic, goes, oh, I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah, with Conviction, it didn't take me out too much, but with just seeing some things with Blacklist, it just seems like he just took a dip in the Lazarus pit, so it kind of takes me out a bit. But we'll see.
Maybe that'll be the next game with Sam Fisher versus Batman, and they get to track down their respective villains. Like, listen, I am the king of the stealth franchise. You are just the newcomer.
Exactly. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure Blacklist will be good gameplay wise, but like you said, it would have been. The Conviction was a perfect outing for him, and it would have been a lot natural of inconsistent progression there if they had still had Michael Ironside do the voice, but him being the Lambert of a new agent.
Yes. I would have loved that, and just it's just too bad that they didn't trust the game audience to say like, okay, we'll be happy to see a new protagonist. Like, we had a lot of good years with Sam, but it's times have changed, and change is sometimes good.
So yeah, I see here in the wiki, Sam Fisher was born on August 8, 1957. So when the conviction came out in 2011, I believe.
Yeah.
2012. So he would have been 53. So not too old. It was like almost it's teetering on Bruce Willis style, him playing John McClane. So not too bad.
Okay, true enough. You got that.
Not too bad. I thought he was older than that, to be honest.
Well, I'm also on the wiki, and it says 57 was when he was born. So maybe pushing it a little bit, where he's 56, maybe. So, hey, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but still, it's just like, dude, you better get like a cane for your like equipment for the next go around, or else you're gonna break a hip or something.
I like looking at the side here on the wiki, the voice, all the different language voices here, like all these different actors who voiced them in a different language.
Yeah,
and then you see the film version portrayed by Tom Hardy, which hasn't even come out yet.
No, it hasn't. But hey, that won't stop anybody from automatically assuming the worst or the best.
Yeah, so that's Chaos Theory here, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely will be doing another game in the future. We'll get into kind of a deep discussion here.
You know it.
That'd be a lot of fun, since there's not much, I guess, really going on in the news, and we don't have any questions for the week, unfortunately. So I think that'd be, I guess, a better than ever to, I guess, end the good show, unless you have something to add there.
Nope. I think we have definitely ended on a good one. We've told people about the glory that is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and I can't think of anything else to add except please play the game, and it is awesome. So yeah,
and watch the movie.
yeah, damn straight. Even though it might be coming out in 2048.
Yeah, I remember it said it was getting produced by Paramount too. I remember seeing that the Paramount logo at the end of that with the glass shard is flying towards you in 3D.
Whoa! It's like Sam Fisher's grizzled beard is coming right at you.
Yeah, I'll always I remember that game just for that main menu screen. So it's such a such an odd menu screen there.
Looking at you and just like, what? Just play the intro video again. There's that one moment where he just like turns to the camera and he looks cross-eyed.
Yeah, I gotta.
Oh, it's so good.
Gotta load that up and see that.
So yeah, that was an excellent retro review, my good sir.
Excellent. It was a nice going back to that and playing a true classic here. So this is episode 136, the Splinter Cell Chaos Theory episode for the most part here. So yeah, be sure to check us out on the good old YouTubes there. So I post the episodes on YouTube and post the stuff there on the WordPress site, bloodydthumbs.wordpress.com. That's where that's linked to the iTunes. So whenever I post on there, that'll just go to the iTunes. The iTunes. Did I mention iTunes?
Yeah, so iTunes, and then BGB. Check out the good old boys down there. We always love to support them. Yeah,
and for the main, from our inception there, also the spill.com as well. So that's where you would go to that to submit us questions if you do have them. Yeah, in the group page as well. We're always encouraging the members who are on there to either write, give us any type of review they have on that they want to do, and just feel free to post it on there, or any type of news articles or opinions you have. Go right ahead. I know that I'll give a plug, but Black Magic posted the continuing his Spider-Man. I think he wrapped up his Spider-Man games review. So we did I think it was the Carnage.
Ooh.
Spider-Man Carnage game for the
Maximum Carnage.
Yes, Maximum Carnage. What was that on the SNES?
I can't remember what the name of the band was, but it was like Green Jelly or Green something that did the introduction They like did the movie, not the movie. They did the soundtrack for the game. And it's like hearing that in 32 bits, like, oh, that's glorious.
So yeah, be sure to give that a read there. Very good review on that game, and in the past, check out the past Spider-Man reviews that he did as well. Did the Spider-Man 2 and the other. It was another Spider-Man game that came out after 2. That's on there as well. So yeah, be sure to check that out. You're still doing the good old LPs there. You're doing some of that Devil May Cry. I did see the Kat Dennings episode a while back.
Thank you. I couldn't believe that you would actually want to guest star in an LP just for one episode. And I'm like, oh, sure, Miss Dennings. Why don't you sit right next to me and watch me play this video game?
It was a fantastic guest spot. So if you have the time and the bandwidth, check that out in full 1080p.
And hey, just like if I ever get tired, I'm like, ma'am, may I use your chest to lay down for 1 second? Thank you. All right, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes.
So yeah, that's on the YouTube under the Liberator 130. So be sure to give that a subscribe there.
Yes, indeed.
And
I'd be happy to have anybody. Any and all comments are welcome.
Exactly. That's what YouTube is for.
Yep.
Give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down. But why would you give that thumbs down? What's wrong with you?
Hey, any press is good press.
Exactly. What was I thinking? Give it all thumbs down. Create some controversy. Controversy.
Hey, wait a minute.
Controversy creates cash. Eric Bischoff once said that very line there. So yes.
Very, very true.
Yeah, I think that's the usual links there, and keep on keeping on, and calm down, everybody. Spill is still around. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
We got
most certainly just in a much more focused capacity now.
Give our hearts go out to the folks there who lost their jobs there. I know that sucks there, but definitely a lot of fond memories, and we wouldn't be around without the site. So give us a support there.
Yes, indeed. They deserve every bit of every hit, every favorite and like that's coming to them.
So other than that, this has been episode 136, and thank you all for listening. So I'm Splinter 47 signing off.
And I am CH Gorok. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.